With that down, guys, let's move on to this, shall we? The new John Krasinski and Ryan Reynolds film, If, is of course now in theaters, and it had a fairly decent opening weekend. Well, some might call it excellent. Now, it was originally projected to make around 40, and then it had a pretty abysmal Thursday opening, which made them change their projections to 30. And then I guess word of mouth caught on, and it actually ended up with $35 million in its opening weekend, which was good enough to overtake Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes for #1 at the box office. Now, this comes just from the Hollywood Reporter, who write the following. Paramount insiders say If's performance is a victory for original fare, noting that it is one of the top openings ever for an original live-action PG title. Critics dissed the film. When does the Hollywood Reporter start using the word dissed? Anyway, critics dissed the film, but audiences awarded it with an A cinema score and strong exits, which are key ingredients needed for a word of mouth and long run as kids begin their summer break. If is also drawing an ethnically diverse audience, which is another plus. Families made up 56% of the audience, while it skewed female by 54%. Anyway, look, I already did my review for the movie. I loved the movie. I thought it was absolutely wonderful. You know, I emphasize the fact that, again, I always say that movies are experiential events, and If made me feel all the way through. It had Anne ugly crying through half of it. And listen, again, though, it only, last I checked, went down to 50% on Rotten Tomatoes, but it was maintaining an 87% audience score, and the cinema score for it is an A. I mean, so audiences, it's clearly connecting with audiences. It's connecting with half the critics as well. I'm one of that half. But I'm glad to see that it's doing well. I mean, again, it's unfortunate that it didn't do even better, but a $35 million opening for this, I think, is actually pretty good. Anyway, Rob, you heard the results of this. How should they feel about, a $35 million opening for this little film?
Well, everybody that I've talked to who's seen this movie really enjoyed it. And I think they were hoping that it would catch fire like something like E.T. But like you pointed out, I don't think this was particularly marketed that well. And I think that it's done okay. I mean, foreign, it added some money to the coffers. I hope it does. I hope word of mouth keeps it afloat for a while longer, because I like Krasinski a lot. This is a big swing at an original IP, like you were saying. And I think we need more movies like this. My biggest fear, though, is this film costs over $100 million.
I think it was about 110.
I mean, I'm like, Hollywood has got to figure out how to make these movies cheaper. Because if this movie was made for $75 million, I'm sure the fees were high. But a movie, I mean, the fact that we've normalized $100 million films seems to me foolhardy. A movie like this shouldn't have cost that much money. No. I don't think.
No, it really should. And you know what? I don't have any numbers in front of me, but I would be curious to find out how much needlessly they paid for the voice cast. Mm-hmm. And I'm not talking about Steve Carell, right? Because he's the main imaginary friend character, right? But when you've got George Clooney and Bradley Cooper, and I mean, listen, just go, the list is long. The list is long of big things. Now, I don't know if they did it for day rate or if they each demanded top dollar and that accounted for, just the voice cast maybe accounted for $20 million of the budget, which again, Steve Carell, the one as the main lead character, I get. You did not need these big stars, because going through the movie, I didn't know who the voices were. I didn't know who the voices were. It didn't need to be some big super mega stars. They could have gotten out and gotten whatever. So that aside, there is a lot of CGI. There's a lot of CG characters, yes, all that kind of stuff. So I understand it's not going to be a cheap movie, but I was a little bit surprised when I looked at it and I saw $110 million. And I'm sure Reynolds probably accounted for 15 of that at least. And then however much they paid for the voice acting, I mean, it should have been cheaper. It should have been cheaper.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of the reason the business is in such trouble, is that movies like this, everyone gets all their monies and their fees up front. I know, Jimmy Fallon said in Almost Famous, you get what you can, while you can, when you can, and all that. That's what he said. You think the Rolling Stones are going to be performing when they're 50? Yes. But the thing is, I understand that's what people are interested in, but I would make, this isn't good. It's not good for the business when you spend this much money and you don't have the kind of return that $100 million spend should bring you. You know, the first $100 million movie was Terminator 2 back in 91. It made $500 million at that time, and that was extraordinary. And it was made on a very compressed production schedule. But this, I don't know, man. It's not good for the business.
Well, it only needs to make about 175 after marketing costs and all that kind of stuff to break even, which I think with, you know, a $35 million opening just domestically, they could be on track to do, especially if it gets good word of mouth.
Yeah, we'll
like
see.
That. So most importantly, it's a good little movie. I'm glad it did as well as it did. Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's video, Cuts Clothing. Let's be real. Most guys would wear a t-shirt every day of their lives if we could. The problem is that most t-shirts are not acceptable to wear at work or out on a hot date. Today's sponsor, Cuts, has finally changed that. Cuts t-shirts are such high quality, wrinkle-free, and so buttery soft that you can look like you're dressing up even when you're dressing down. Yeah, you heard that right. They are wrinkle-free. And for a limited time, you can save money while redefining the dress code by heading to cutsclothing.com and use the code Campea for 20% off. Guys, you know me, when it comes to clothing, my number one priority is comfort, and I could not believe just how comfortable my Cuts shirt was. It was light, it breathed, it felt like $1 million, and it made me feel like I looked like $1 million too. And the best part? Cuts Clothing is built to last. Their durable construction means you'll be enjoying your favorite shirts and pants for years to come, making them a smart investment for your wardrobe. So guys, for a limited time, our listeners get 20% off your entire order when you use the code Campea at checkout. That's 20% off your order at cutsclothing.com with the promo code Campea. Please support our show by telling them that the John Campea Show sent you. Experience the perfect blend of style and comfort with Cuts Clothing. Guys, question is for you. What do you think about this for an opening weekend for IF? It's going to face stiff competition going into its second weekend because we've got a Garfield movie coming and we've got a little, what's that Sand in the Desert movie? Oh yeah, Furiosa coming. So it's going to have some headwinds going against it. Whatever you guys think, jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.